financial opportunities mentioned on this show are offered by various companies, entities, and/or organizations that may not be directly owned, managed, or controlled by the Real Estate Life. All credit decisions, including loan approval rate and APR, will vary based on your specific loan request and credit profile. The information provided on this show is merely to allow the listener the ability to become more familiar with such potential opportunities and to obtain more detailed information on the suitability of such opportunities to the listener's personal and financial situation from the companies, entities, and/or organizations involved.
A new home you've dreamt about for years, and there's only one thing standing in your way: getting a loan. Rest assured, United Mortgage Corporation of America is here to help make your dream a reality. Get answers, get results, get the service you deserve. What kind of loan do you have? Call now at 888-LIFE-980. That's 888-5433-980. Or go to the web at yourrealestatelife.com and take
Your Day on Real Estate Radio. Today's program, Up, Down, and Fed Around. The Fed Factor. I'm Michael Harris, mortgage lender, president and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America, NMLS 3189, MLO number 233410. You're listening to us on Fox Sports, Ventura, AM 1590, FM 94.7. And our Sunday show is on K-Earth 101. But this week we take a hiatus, but we have our audience listening on kvta.com. You can also watch on YouTube at Your Real Estate Life. You're going to need our number. Our number, 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Our show website, yourrealestatelife.com. You can get started on your loan process if that's what you are looking to do today. UnitedForLoans.com. That's UnitedForLoans.com. We are for loans. We're just not for the interest that you're paying. Now, interest rates right now, we're at a 2025 year low. Yeah, we are. I mean, we're seeing the Fed that's going to make a move. We're going to talk about that today. But not only one move, they're going to make two moves. Not only two moves, they're going to make three moves this year. We're seeing the probability skyrocket. And we're seeing the mortgage market pricing this in already. With that said, great interest rates. We have rates that have a 5 in front of it, a high 5. We have low 6s with very little points or fees. Now, points are a percentage of your loan amount. We had a gentleman, one of our past clients, he was cheating on me, and he was working with another lender who all of a sudden surprised him. So now we picked up the ball and we're going to run with it, and we're getting the loan done at no points. He was all of a sudden being charged 2 points. Now you go, 2 points. Oh, it's 2. Okay, not much. Well, 2% of his loan amount, this was a $1.5 million loan, $30,000. You got to be kidding. Even if I wanted to charge a 0.5 point and buy his rate down, he wasn't going to be better based on his monthly expenditures for 71 months. 71 months. And what I just said, interest rates are on their way down. So if they're going down, they're not going down tremendously, but they're going down. Why buy the rate further lower and take that money and never see the benefits? Why do that? So the Federal Reserve plays a role in your financial life, whether you realize it or not. You know, when they act, it's your mortgage, it's your credit cards. I mean, even your savings accounts affected, the CD rates. Now, over this next hour, we're going to break it down. We're going to break down what the Fed's doing, why it matters, and what you can do to stay ahead. Let's talk basics. What does the Fed do? And what does it matter to you? What does it matter at all? Now, the Fed's got a dual mandate. They got to be looking at what's going on. They're our central bank. It operates under what is called that dual mandate, which means they have two main responsibilities: keeping inflation under control and maximizing employment. The goal is balance, stable prices, and strong job market. Too much inflation erodes purchasing power. Too little can signal weak demand. Too much job growth risk overheating wages and prices. Too little means an unhealthy economy. So it's the yin and the yang and making sure we balance. And the Fed's got some tools. They got a toolbox. They walk a fine line. They have several tools. They have the Fed funds rate. So the rate the bank charges each other on the overnight lending. This is what the Fed's main lever and affects nearly all other rates. Now they have the discount rate. Now this is what, when the Fed makes a move, they change that discount rate. This is what the banks, when borrowing directly from the central bank, this is what the banks or the Fed charges the banks. Now, the open market operations, bond purchases, which we do see regularly, buying and selling of government securities to add and drain money from the system. We have liquidity actions. In times of crisis, the Fed may inject cash through emergency programs and keep credit flowing. Now, when we see raising rates, when inflation runs hot, the Fed raises rates. That means borrowing costs rise, mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and they will get more expensive. But we're going to talk about the raising rates. We're going to talk about cutting rates. And we're going to talk beyond mortgages. When we come back, I'm Mike Harris. We'll have more after this break.
Your equity position has started to improve? Call about the removal of your private mortgage insurance or mortgage insurance premium and save money today. Call 888-5433-980.
What if I told you everything you understood to be true about money is not? If there was a program to eliminate most of your interest in your life and pay off all your debts, personal or business, even mortgages, in as little as 1/3 to 1/2 the normal time without refinancing and without changing your lifestyle, would you want to learn more? Call 888-543-3980 and request your information today, or email at interest@aheadformoney.com. That's interest@aheadformoney.com.
Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Mike Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America. Thank you for joining us this morning. We were talking about the Fed. We're talking about those up, downs, and the Fed around. What's going on? It's the Fed factor. We're talking about what the Fed does and the balance that they strike, making sure they're looking at their two mandates. We're talking about employment and inflation. Now, we were talking about raising rates. Now, we're not in that cycle right now. We're looking right now, pretty much 100%. The Fed's going to go down a quarter. It's going down a quarter this upcoming week. We're actually pricing in already October to go down. And then we're looking at December. So 3 more moves. Now, if rates were rising, that would affect your mortgage rates, auto loans, credit cards, and other items to be more expensive. Now, housing slows as affordability drops. Now, business cut back on borrowing and investment. In short, the Fed uses rate hikes to cool down demand and bring inflation back down. Now, we saw a large amount of inflation. We saw rates going back up. I mean, we saw mortgage rates in the 2s and 3s, and now we went all the way up to 7s. In some cases, we're 8s. Now we're in the lower 6s again, high 5s in some cases. Now, it depends upon your credit. It depends upon the equity that you have and certain parameters to your individual and your real estate life. And we'll discuss those separately. So give us a call, 888-543-3980. Go to yourrealestatelife.com or unitedforloans.com. That's unitedforloans.com to get started. Now, we're in a cutting rate cycle. So when the economy slows or begins to slow and the job market weakens, we're not seeing a large amount of jobs. We saw that this past week. Now, when we see that Fed cut, borrowing is cheaper. Mortgage rates often drop. And a lot of times they're dropping before the Fed move. The Fed follows what the bond market sees that the Fed's going to do. So sometimes when the Fed moves, rates go up a little before they come back down, maybe for the next 6-week cycle. So we watch that very carefully. Now, leading into it right now, our clients are getting some of the best rates they've seen in some time. We're able to get them discounts. We're able to save them more money. And I want to save you money. Let's see what we can do for you. And let's evaluate your current mortgage and see if there's something we can do to help. Many of our clients are getting home equity lines of credit. They're utilizing the equity. Even if they don't need to tap it, it's having it available for usage in the future. And when you have the prime rate today at 7.5, soon to be 7.25, then soon to be 7, then soon to be 6.75, and then early next year going down maybe once or twice more, we're seeing rates on simple interest loans, lines of credit that could be utilizing simple interest to pay down amortized interest. Makes a big difference. The type of interest that you're paying, not only the rate, it makes a large difference in your outcome. I'd like to explore that with you. I want you to attend Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Tuesday evening at 6 p.m., it's a webinar. You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to speak. I need you and want you to attend. And I want you to see visually as well. We'll be on a Zoom meeting. I want to get you access. Send me an email, interest@aheadformoney.com, aheadformoney.com. When you send that email to me, I'm going to get you access. I'm going to get you some additional items to watch, very comfortably, links that you can watch to get more familiar. I personally have taken 26.4 years down to 7.9 years. Now, on my own, I understand these principles, but on my own, I was taking it down to 12.3. I'm saving an additional 6 figures by utilizing a perfect financial GPS program that's giving me perfect information. I mean, when's the last time you reached in your glove compartment and pulled out a roadmap? Why have that nonsense with your finances? Let's get it done right. Let's get perfect information back to you. Someone smarter in the room than both you and me and many others combined that's giving you perfect information, directing you down the path. Now, you don't have to listen, but you'll know the consequences if you don't, because it's going to explain or get you to recalculate to get you back on track. But it's going to get to the destination in the fastest way possible. It's going to get you to the promised land. It's going to get you to your destination. I want to help you do that. Interest@aheadformoney.com or call 888-543-3980. Now, I mentioned about mortgage rates dropping. I talked about fueling refinances and home purchases. We've seen some trigger already. With that 5 number that I talked about, we're going to see millions of individuals activate. With that said, I'm not sure we're seeing home prices going down. We really hadn't seen a lot of that. But with that many more people coming in the market, it may get competitive. We have a client who's currently looking at purchasing a property, and all of a sudden it became a bidding war. Oh, not that again. So you need to be prepared. You need to get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is a conversation. Pre-approval is gaining your documentation. We have another client who gave me a call, provided his documentation. We submitted the loan. It was pretty quick. We had everything. Same day loan approval. We are now setting up the appraisal. We're going to make a 16-day escrow out of this. Okay. And I probably could have gone a little sooner. I want to assist and help you. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. When we see rates going down, we may also see credit cards, auto loans, personal loans fall. Kind of helps that monthly budget. And I talk about budgeting. It's very important to understand your monthly, your quarterly, your semi-annual, and your annual expenses. Just because you paid it and it's not coming back for 11 months or 12 months doesn't mean it's not going to be there again. So you need to budget that and make sure the money's allocated. We want to see what your discretionary monthly money is. Yes, we want to qualify you for a home loan. Yes, we look at what is called a debt to income ratio. But more importantly, it's how much money you have left over at the end of every month. You have other expenses, groceries, gas, electric, water, power, all these things. So I kind of make a joke of it, but be careful what you wish for. I might get you in. I might get the loan for you. But I need you to understand all the consequences and all the ideals around it. We talk when rates go down, businesses have more money to invest. Things are more affordable. I mean, I took my family out to dinner. My gosh, if it can't get under $100 anymore. It's crazy. You're spending a lot of money on other items. And depending on your budgeting and what you do, you may not have a lot of money left over. These are the things that I like to discuss with you, get you on the right path so you can look at home ownership. Because if you do not own a home, you are making a mortgage payment. It's just not your own, it's your landlord's. Your landlord loves you, and you don't need that kind of love in your life. If you're making a payment, an interest rate that's too high on your home, your obligations, your lender loves you, and you don't need that kind of love in your life either. I want to open your eyes to possibilities of saving more money, keeping that money on your side of the ledger, transforming the bank's plan to eliminate debt to create wealth. There's many professionals out there who do this for a living. They're financial planners, your CPA advisors and others, insurance related services, your realtor when it comes to buying real estate, investing. And it's understanding money differently, ways that we weren't taught in grade school or college, and understanding how we can take that interest volume and translate it to profits for yourself. Become the bank. I'd like to talk to other professionals out there who aren't utilizing a perfect financial GPS for their clients, because I can show you how you can retain clients, build clients, and get more referral. And if you're an individual that has not seen this before, maybe you can introduce me to your team, because you're only as good as your team. I mean, we got football going on now. We got college football. My wife's Ohio State, so she's very happy at the moment. So you're only as good as an offensive line. If one defensive back or lineman get in, now you're a scrambling quarterback. My job is to make sure your offensive line joins hands and make sure they're protecting you. And this is part of it. It's your money. 888-543-3980. Now, a lot of items beyond the mortgage are tied. Credit cards might be tied to the prime rate, which follows what the Fed does very carefully. We have auto loans that rise also as the Fed shifts or goes lower. Student loans, a lot of those private loans are tied to this as well. Your savings accounts, I mean, some people joke and, oh gosh, it was worth nothing, but it has been worth something lately. It went up to the 5s and 4s and now 3s, and it's going to go down a little bit. So the savings rates will go down, but you still should not have your funds idled earning nothing. So we can talk about that as well. You got investments, various strategies, whether they're stocks or bonds or long-term or where you are in your life at this time. Many of our clients right now are getting into buying property and building ADUs, accessory dwelling units. One of my clients has a property, 2-unit property, and it has 2 ADUs. He has another one that is a duplex. It also has a ADU, but he's gaining rental monies and rental income, and he's building a portfolio. So where you're looking to do that expansion, we're able to help with financing and other arrangements. I love to talk to you more about that. Now, I mentioned about where we look and what the Fed's going to do. Where you react and where you go is really your strategy. It's not getting in line with everyone else. It's evaluating your current statement, how much interest that you're paying every month, what's your interest volume. When you started at 2, 3, 4, 5%, your money that you're outlaying is a lot more than you think. If you're 5.2% or higher, you're paying over 100% back. You borrow 400,000, you're paying back over 800,000. So if your rate is below 5.2%, yeah, you're doing better than 100%. But 52, 58, 60, that's not that good. So I want to eliminate that number as well. I want to bring that down to more affordable numbers and ones that make sense. Now, I mentioned about me and my family going out and spending what we spent. And you look at that tip. They give you all those suggestions on the bottom, right? But is 100% tip too much? I think so. 50? Probably. You get start 30s, 25s, 18. You start looking at these numbers and you go, okay, yeah, I can manage maybe. Okay. But if you look at your tip, the total interest percentage on your closing statement, you'll see that you didn't have that choice. It was prescribed to you. It was suggested. It's like you had a big party and they already put the tip in the dollar amount. Yeah, they did. They did. We want to move you further down that amortization much, much sooner. Now, the economic calendar, which comes out every single week, of course, of economic news, we watch that very carefully. And that indicates usually where the market is and indicates what the Fed shall and shall not do. Now, this upcoming Tuesday, we have the FOMC meeting. It begins. It's a 2-day meeting. So we're going to have those results, and then we're going to have that press conference on Wednesday. We have industrial production, housing starts, building permits. On Thursday, we have existing home sales, leading economic indicators coming out. On Friday, University of Michigan consumer sentiment. But as I said, if we're looking at the Fed, we're looking at the quarter cut. September 17th, October 26th, another. December 10th, another. Some are even saying that, hey, could we get 0.5% this upcoming week? I don't think so. Very little percentage. So it's pretty much 100% this time. And then a little bit towards a half, which no, that leads us to October. And then December 10th. And then it takes us into next year. And then 26, I see at least 2 based on the horizon. So if we look at 1.25% over the next 15 months or so, that's going to be a big move. It's going to change consumer rates. The mortgage rates will rally going into each of these moves. And as I said, a little bit of a sell-off and then back and forth a little bit. But as we do this, we're going to be saving lots of money for the people who have done a loan over the last year or 2. So if you purchased, refinanced, pulled out cash over the last 2 years, I need to speak with you. If you have a VA loan, an FHA loan, I need to speak with you. There are streamlined loans that can lower your rate, free up monthly cash, and pay off other obligations or build wealth. I want to talk to you about minimal costs to do these items. It has to have a net tangible benefit. There's no reason to do it as an exercise. No. You're going to get solicited and called and all that, but you're going to get called a lot less in about 6 months. The president signed the trigger bill. The trigger bill will eliminate all those calls. I talk about pre-screen credit opt-out, which is available still for 6 months. You need that. But if you have your credit report ran, the credit companies are then selling your information, and you're getting 134 calls coming in from people soliciting because they know what you did. It's all about your data. So now you're going to be able to have that protected from the person only servicing your loan, working on your loan. You're going to have a limited scope of individuals that have access to that transaction. Okay, so that's going to be better. So the trigger bill was signed. So if you want more information about that, I'm glad to share that with you. But that's a happy day. And we're looking at early March for that to go in play, 180 days after it's signed. Okay, so 180 days of the continuation. But that's going to be very, very helpful. So it was a very big battle, and 2.5 years of items that finally triggered in, which is fantastic for our industry. But again, I'm looking at these Fed moves. We're going to look at the impact to the mortgage adjustable rate loans as these indexes go down. The home equity line of credit that I talked about, the prime goes down, which causes that to go down. Simple interest is even lower. That's going to be even better for you. Get your equity line in place. I can help. I can close those. I can do it very efficiently. United Mortgage Corporation of America, we're approved to lend in California, Colorado, Montana, Texas, and the state of Washington. Now, those of you watching on YouTube, I can do investment loans, DSCR loans in 46 states. So I'd love to talk with you. If I'm not approved to lend in your market or your state for the product or service that you're looking to achieve, I can look to refer you to a licensed professional in your marketplace. So reach out, 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. I want to help you succeed. I want to help you save money. My goal is to do that at all costs. A lot of times my clients say, hey, this is good. I go, no, there's more. So when I see the market, I want to grab it and I want to get as much as possible for you. The more money I save you, an eighth here, an eighth there, a little bit of money here and there. Right now, I've been tossing in 40 basis points extra for my clients on closes. Until the Fed move, I have about 90 basis points on rate and term refinancing. That includes FHA loans and VA loans as well, the IRRRL loan, the interest rate reduction loan. So we've been doing that. So I'm here to help. The credit cards and other loans, they're going to be tied to the prime. You'll see some moves there. I don't influence those. Your CD and savings rates, I said. But the big picture, a cut should lower your costs, allow you to gain other services or maintain or continue maybe to get more discretionary to eliminate other debt or create other investment opportunity. 3 cuts this year and possibly more next year. That's meaningful. A shift in borrowing costs. Now, in our next segment, we're going to be working more with you. We're going to be talking about what we can do to connect the dots between the Fed policy, lending standards, and consumer behavior. And it's all about your real estate life. You're listening to myself, Mike Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America. We have more after the break.
Looking for a place to start? United for Loans is the place for you to start your refinance or purchase process today. Call 888-5433-980.
Yes, it's a little scary right now, but every crisis presents an opportunity. How many times have you looked back and said, why didn't I act? Do not try to navigate lending without a map. Tune in Sunday at 7 a.m. on K-Earth 101 with host and CEO Mike Harris of United Mortgage Corporation of America to discuss your real estate life. What should I do? Buy, refinance, sell, or hold? United Mortgage Corporation of America is open for business and ready to lend. Visit unitedforloans.com or call 888-543-3980.
Lending can be a bit confusing. Numbers can be tossed from one direction to another. How can you make it all stop? United Mortgage Corporation of America, unitedforloans.com can be your guide. Call directly at 888-5433-980 for what you need to know when financing a home of your dreams or commercial property. Call now at 888-5433-980 or visit at unitedforloans.com. That's 888-5433-980.
Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Michael Harris, mortgage lender. Been doing this now for 38 years, 19 years now doing radio, now going on to YouTube. Not only a face for radio, now we're visual as well. You can catch us on YouTube at Your Real Estate Life. Just getting started on that, but we also have our recordings to our programs. You can go to yourrealestatelife.com or you can go to unitedforloans.com and you'll have an archive there of all our audio, and now you'll have video as well. So you'll catch me in the studio doing the programs as you are right now. And, we kind of keep it topical. We talk about the things that matter, the economic calendar. We talk about various items that are going on in the economy. Different lending programs that come out where we have different grants and different other programs locally as well as in other states. First-time home buyer programs that can get up to 100% financing with grants behind them. VA loans that allow 100% financing, 3% down, 3.5% down. We've been getting programs in the past where we've done buy downs, where we buy down the rate for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years at a time, whether it's 3%, 2%, 1% buy downs, getting more affordable in the years on monthly payments, especially when you have money coming in from the seller, realtor, lender, contributing towards your closing costs. We have a transaction right now where we're getting $20,000 from the seller. Now, the reason why, there's reasons, of course, it doesn't affect the lending side, but that's going to cover everything from his insurance to his closing costs to his escrow to various items where he's only coming in with his down payment. It's a purchase. So these things matter because you're using other people's money. And if you're able to do that and gain all those tax benefits, perhaps check with your CPA, your tax advisor. I'm not a CPA, don't want to put that hat on, but you have various benefits of how your transaction is set up. So we are getting monies and credits coming in for closing. A lot of builders are utilizing those services to retain and keep their home sales prices higher. So we want to look at that as well as to really what the story is. But too much concession is good and bad at the same time. So we kind of keep an eye to that. We want to make sure the appraisals are accurate for the right reason. We use independent appraisers. We go through appraisal management. So we want to make sure they're going to be accurate and not kind of leaning towards a bias. We did have some appraisal items that we ran into where I had to actually, I say it loosely, argue or defend in order to get the value. We had an appraisal where they were using comparable sales, but they were comparing owning solar to leasing solar. And there's a different value when you own solar versus you're leasing it. And it wasn't giving the value of ownership. So that was the difference between our appraised value. And it allowed our transaction to go forward without the client coming up with more money to close. So that's very important that we look at that. So I look at all aspects. I do have an underwriting background. I'm not retaining your loan for servicing, but I will move the servicing over for another to collect on a monthly basis. But when we submit a loan, we generally don't have conditions. We had an approval this past week where they were asking for various documentation, but it really didn't pertain to our client. It was an extension of where he was working, but because he didn't have over a certain percentage of ownership, it was something that I kind of stood on right away, and the underwriter agreed, and we were able to get the item taken care of, signed off, and we moved on. But it's very important we get all of our ducks in a row. We want to make sure what we are doing to set up your transaction. You have a lot of funds available for your down payment. We want to make sure if it's stock related items that we're going to show liquidation, movement of monies, and show the availability of those monies before we, of course, go to close. We want to make sure that that is done. Various items, if there's gift funds or other items, we want to make sure how that's being set up, and we will go over that process with you. If we are looking at credit, sometimes credit scores have room and time to improve. We've been able to get 5, 10, 15, even up to 50 points better during the course of an escrow. And each time we were able to move up to different plateaus from 580 to 620 to 640, 660, 680, 700, 720, 740, 20 at a time. We're able to get certain cost benefits, and especially because of the loan to value, the equity position. So refinance, it's very important as we get that appraised value, but we're able to get the indicators and generally have a great idea of where that value is going to be. Now, some of you will rely on some things you see on the internet and you think you got the value of your home. Certain ones aren't quite accurate. They could be wrong one way or the other to a large extent. So you got to be careful. So we want to make sure we check from a lender's perspective about where we see value. Most recently, we had a client felt their value was at Said number, believe it or not, it was higher from the lender's view. They were looking at a more conservative approach. Now, depending on where you are and what your transaction is, divorce transactions, one is looking for the lowest value for the split and one is looking for the highest value for the split. But sometimes that should be a uniform thought because you're looking for an equitable split somewhere on those items and you haven't determined who gets what or who or why it's being sold. So we work very closely in the divorce community, valuing assets, valuing debt, and making sure that we understand those correctly. If I'm working with both, that's one story. If we work with one, one's going to have a more educated point of view because they're going to understand what they can do with that debt and how they can pay it off much sooner. We've been showing individuals how they can pay off debt in as little as 1/3 or 1/2 the time without changing their lifestyle. We've been able to eliminate years of debt. Now, when you take a debt or credit card or other item and you go, oh my gosh, it's to be 28 years before I pay this off. And I show you how you can do it without changing your lifestyle and do it in 7, 8. It makes a big difference. So valuing the debt and valuing it properly makes a large difference in making decisions that are actually more informed because anyone can make a decision. But then you go, oh, should I have done that? Too late. So we want to make sure you understand that. So in tying a lot of what we're doing up with the Fed and the forecasts and the calendar, I want to kind of connect the dots. We have lending standards. And as we open up a home loan and we look at all those items I just mentioned, we have a timeline. What is the timeline to where interest rates are going to improve, stay the same, or get worse during the course of your transaction? We want to make sure we make these decisions. And a lot of people will lock your loan right away. They say, oh, we can always float down. You're not going to get the full benefits. You are not. And then, or they submitted somewhere else and they keep going. It's like, oh my gosh, no. So I watch these indicators and I want to get your lock as least amount of days possible because we're not securing it as long, so it's not as expensive. So if I save money on the lock and the market, we have 2 wins. I always go for a third as well. And that's me giving you extra at the close. Let's get it done together. 888-543-3980 on Mike Harris. We'll have more after the break.
I work all day, sweat and slave, and we break our backs for what? Money!
Get pre-approved for your home purchase. Your landlord loves you. You're making their mortgage payment. Own for less than you pay for rent. Call 888-5433-980.
What if I told you everything you understood to be true about money is not? If there was a program to eliminate most of your interest in your life and pay off all your debts, personal or business, even mortgages, in as little as 1/3 to 1/2 the normal time without refinancing and without changing your lifestyle, would you want to learn more? Call 888-543-3980 and request your information today or email at interest@aheadformoney.com. That's interest@aheadformoney.com.
Money, 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 must be funny in a rich man's world.
Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Mike Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America. You're listening to us today on Fox Sports, 1590 out here in Ventura. We're here on 97.9 FM as well. You know, we're on Sunday mornings every other week on K-Earth 101 out here in Southern California. This weekend, we're here in Ventura County. But you can stream our program. You can go to Your Real Estate Life on YouTube. You can also go to our websites at yourrealestatelife.com, or you can go to unitedforloans.com, unitedforloans.com, and you have our past programs audio there as well, and get your fill. But you got our phone number. You can have your very own radio program here or conversation. 888-543-3980. I want to know what's going on with your real estate life. When's the last time have you looked at your mortgage statement? Do you know how much money is going towards principal? How much is going towards interest? Is it kind of lopsided still, more towards interest? Let's make a change. Do you have equity in your home? I'm not asking you to refinance, but maybe looking at an equity line. But maybe you do have more expensive debt, and maybe freeing up the discretionary monthly money would allow you to then target certain areas and items and eliminate debt sooner. We can look at that. But we want to see the whole story, not just somebody saying, oh, you should do this. Well, why? What's the result? Let's look at the result. So let's make that call together. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Now we'll see this week the Fed's ripple effects and shows up everywhere, every corner of your financial life. It really, truly does. I mean, it's your loan approvals, your home prices. It looks at different strategies. And I want you to be ready for those and understand which triggers which for you. Because you're either starting your first home, moving up, moving sideways, moving down, adding to your portfolio, saving for college items, various other items that are on the horizon, your retirement as well. All these things matter. And working with your professionals, I talked about that offensive line, your team, it really, truly matters. 888-543-3980. I talked about buyers and borrowers. I talk about locking loans and strategies, short-term, long-term, whether you're getting a buy down, a fixed rate, lower cost, points and fees, paying it down, long-term goals. All these things matter. But also it matters on where you are with credit and other things that are going on. Because spending money when you're not in the best of shape doesn't make sometimes as much sense when we can get you in shape and get you better terms. So why pay for terms that you might be entitled to or get very comfortably, very shortly? And especially as a market's moving down right now, you have the ability to catch those items rather than buy them before they occur. I spend your money the way I spend mine, sparingly. I want value for my money, and so should you. You really need to think about that. Just because you got something doesn't mean you should go spend it, because when you don't got it, you can't. The same way I talk about a home equity line of credit. When you need it, you can't get it. When you don't want it, you got to make these decisions when it's not what you think. I mean, I have clients who say, well, I can get you an equity line. Well, I don't need it. And then when they need it, they can't get it. It just doesn't make sense. If you don't borrow or use the line, you have no monthly payment. Just like that credit card you got, maybe that has zero balance and you have no monthly payments. But it's there. That's what I want you to do. I want you to have that comfort, but also understand, because something's there doesn't mean you have to go spend it. Okay? Got to get you out of that habit as well, maybe. I want to make sure you're comfortable and you have all the backup you need, because you deserve it. You deserve to have everything, but you need to know there's something there. We have a lot of seniors, 55 and over, 60 in some states, 62 in others, for different programs and services under a reverse mortgage. We've been able to show couples, families, how they can utilize a reverse mortgage as a financial planning instrument, or even a divorce case scenario for our senior divorces, where they're able to utilize qualifying, which is only for taxes and insurance, an ability there where it's less qualifying income-wise, but it's more qualifying on your equity. So based upon your date of birth, what is owed on the property and the value of the property, I can see if it's available for you to have optional mortgage payments on a reverse mortgage. There's also reverse second mortgages that allow a little bit better percentage access than it does as a first. But then you still have your existing first mortgage where you have a payment, but then your second will have an optional payment. So these are ways that we can redirect monies to pay off other items, obligations, or have a better lifestyle, whether you're paying for home family health care or other items, things that you need, that you have equity buried in your backyard. I mean, you've worked hard for your home. It's time for your home to work hard for you. These are the things and the dynamics that I want to explore with you, depending on where you are on your journey with your real estate life. There's so many outside factors that affect things. I talked about the Fed today, the Fed decision that's going on this upcoming week. Every 6 weeks, we talk about these decisions. But in between, we have all these other items that come out: inflation, jobs, and consumer behaviors, business behaviors. All these things are reflections upon you and others like you. But you have your own economy to run. And I made that joke earlier about be careful what you wish for. I might get it for you. I don't want you trapped in your home. I want to make sure you're comfortable. You understand the options and you're not surprised at something that happens once you're in. It's not, I got them in, lock the door, bolt. Okay, no. I want you comfortable to come and go as you want, being able to afford what's going on and making sure you made a comfortable decision. And it's having the right loan for the right situation and timing. And sometimes it is a two-step process because sometimes we see things as you start exploring this and things that can get better. And now we are in a perfect time. As rates are starting to move down a little bit again, you have the time to catch up. You have the time to make a decision with lesser costs to gain a better decision later on and position yourself even better. I want to be a part of that timing with you. Some of you who are hanging on to your 2, 3s, and 4s, it's getting a little bit more difficult. Life is making different decisions for you. I want to show you how we can reposition these items to not see, I guess, not a punishment, but an additional cost on a monthly basis. I want it still to come out as neutral, but solve the other items that you're wishing to resolve or do. We have individuals, again, life changes and items that occur, whether the household's developing further or being dissolved. Things happen, and time will tell to these items as well. We have various political and legislative changes that occur, and as those happen, we kind of slide and move with those as well, and that's why your professional team is important. We talked about the Fed today. We talked about interest rates. We talked about process of lending. I'm a mortgage banker of 38 years. My goal is to help you secure financing in the best way. They could have said the cheapest way, but it's not always the cheapest that's best. It's what's efficiently resolving or handling what it is you need to do in the right timeline. Some people choose an interest-only loan because they have better things to do with their funds. Maybe it's a 40-year amortization. Maybe it's a 30-year amortization. Maybe they're paying it off in 25, 20, 15, 10. They're paying it off at different times. But it's roping you to that monthly payment and stating that nothing is changing and you can always afford it. There's many professionals that will have you get the lowest term of loan. In that case, why don't you get a one-day loan? Well, it's not practical. The same way, perhaps a 15-year loan is not practical to your lifestyle. So we want to make sure you can afford it. But if you did a 30-year loan and you paid it off in 8 years, then you were able to pay it and rate really didn't matter. But you had the flexibility in case life served you something else. And these are the things I want to explore. This is your money. These are your decisions. They're not for other people to make. It's up to me and others to help give you the information you need to make these decisions clear. And it's interesting because people will try to educate and give enough information to feel you can do it yourself. But that's not always the case. Just because someone explains the surgery and gives me the scalpel doesn't mean I should make the cut. So you got to be very careful. Just because someone says, oh, it's only 3 wires and you hook this and you do this and watch the video and and you cut the wrong wire. Good luck. Just because I know how to go up a ladder and I know how to go on the roof and pull a tile and go put a new tile in doesn't mean I should be on my roof doing that, especially as I get older. My mind's writing checks my body can't cash. Okay, you got to be careful about that. when you're younger and you're a sports individual and you're playing a sport, let's go baseball, and you're playing center field and the ball's hit to you, you don't think, you just go dive and catch it. But when you get to a certain age, you got to start thinking, well, if I dive, I'm going to be hurt all week. I'll play it on the hop. Then, you got a different person who needs to get the job done. At least if you're talking about maybe efficiently and the timing, that's where you look to professionals. And you think hiring a professional is expensive? You try hiring an amateur and see where that leaves you. I've seen that too many times. You try to save some money and it ends up costing you a lot more, and then time lost on top of it. And then you're chasing and chasing and chasing, and you're trying to fix other people's mistakes. And then what all the other opportunity costs you lost as well. So our goal is to help you through this process. It's a process you don't visit that often. You do your job and you do it very well. I can't pretend to do your job. I may have an idea, but it doesn't mean I know all the nuances to get it done perfectly correct. I've been doing it a long time. I've seen a lot of families. I've seen a lot of positives and negative decisions and items that I had to come in, clean up, correct, or even learn from. I want to bring those years and decades of experience with my team to you. I want to be there as a resource. I want to hear what's going on and where your goals lie today. Do you have a loan of your lifetime? Is this where you're going to be? You're never going to move again? Great. Let's set you up to a position where you could protect your asset. Let's make sure you have a professional team and things that you need to gain and get. Let's make sure you have a line of credit. Make sure you have the right setup. We want to make sure you're there and protected and everything is thought of. And sometimes it's easier when you're not in the fog. When you're outside the fog, it's easier to see things. And maybe it's that other individual who's going to give that spark or idea to you. And that's what we've done over many, many years. We work with multi-generations of families. This week, I talked to the kids of many of my past clients, and those kids now have kids as well. Two of my clients over the past have been fourth generation. I have over a dozen, three generation, and many, many that I can't count, second generational families. It's interesting because I've seen the success of these families and where they are now, and the kids. And I remember them even when they were born, their birth announcements, and now they're sitting with their own families. It just makes me say I'm old, huh? Yeah. But it's very rewarding as well, as I've seen the families develop and go through their timelines. And I like to be that for you. I like to help you with your process or even evaluate what you have. 888-543-3980. As we head here into the fourth quarter, not too far away, we're going to be able to see as the holidays come in, various decisions that need to be made, financial planning and various other decisions as we head to 2026. As you have a mortgage, when you make your payment, you pay a month later. So when you have a payment that you're making here coming up in October, that's paying, back. So when we pay that payment on January, we're already paying the one going forward. So I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today, right? So when you pay rent, you pay in advance. Mortgages usually in arrears. So you're already going forward on your time. I want to make sure your planning is already right for 26. I don't know, lost in the days, lost in this space. It's a long day already. We've had a very busy weekend. We've had people presenting offers. We've had counter offers already this morning. We got some individuals that are already moving forward, looking to open escrow on Monday. So it's been very, very rewarding for many already, but it's a stressful time. And my job is to remove the stress. The agents have already got the updates. They got the pre-approvals. We already got the loan submitted, waiting for the property address, the property to appraise. In one case, we're able to get a drive-by appraisal based upon the equity position in the down payment. We're here to make life easier, but I'm here to help save you money. I want to time this the best way possible to put that money back in your wallet, whether it's $100, $1,000, or $10,000. I want to put that money on your side of the ledger and use it to where you need it most, not in lining someone else's pocket. gave the story earlier where we had an individual who's going to be charged $30,000 in fees. I was able to bring it down to 0 points. It's $30,000 savings. Now, I'll be fair. The interest rate on my end was just a little higher because I had a better program, fully amortized. His was a 5-1-R, mine's 30-year. So it was giving him long-term security, no cost where you can move it out and do something else. But the monthly difference in the payment, he was getting even get close to getting 30,000 back, let alone the numbers were just stupid. People are relying on you to make those wrong decisions in order to take you for more money. And that's a person, even if they corrected their actions and said, oh, you're right. Is that someone you want to work with? I certainly hope not. So we may give a blueprint here on the program, and I'm never too busy to work or speak with you. I want to talk to you about your real estate life. Purchase or refinance going forward or in reverse, whether it's a DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio investment loan, whether it's a loan that has a grant, all these loans and all these items, commercial, construction, I want to be a resource for you. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Go to yourrealestatelife.com. Go to unitedforloans.com, forloans.com. You can also join us now on YouTube at yourrealestatelife.com. Join me next week as we continue to break down the numbers, shape up your money, your mortgages, and your future. Until then, stay informed, stay ready, and take control of your real estate life. What kind of loan do you have?
United Mortgage Corporation of America, UnitedForLoans.com will continue to take your calls after the program. Call now to start your home loan process at 888-5433-980.
I don't know about you, but I love this time of year. I love this time of year because we got the college football, we got professional football, we got baseball, we got the last parts of the season shaping up for the playoffs. We got teams really seeing how they were working together as a team. And I can't emphasize that enough because in the mortgage side, everyone's not for themselves. We're here to help you. We want to get you over the goal line. We want to get you in the dugout after you ran around the bases. We want you to score. I want to get this right for you. Pick up the phone, give us a call. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. We'll talk next week.
Good.